Hi everyone, in this video I'll cover the Strapi integration for ImageKit. We will look at how do we install the plugin, how do we do the initial settings, and then use ImageKit for media uploads as well as for media delivery. Now to get started, I already have an instance of Strapi that's running on my local host, and I have an ImageKit account which has some files in the media library. My Strapi instance as of now contains only the bare minimum content that comes with a fresh installation. Now to get started with ImageKit, I first need to install the ImageKit plugin. The instructions for this are given in our documentation, and if I head to installation, the exact command is available as well. I'll just copy this and I'll stop the current instance that's running for Strapi, and I will install the Strapi plugin for ImageKit first. Once the installation is done, we need to rebuild the Strapi instance. So we have to run npm run build. And once the Strapi instance is rebuilt, I can restart our Strapi instance by running npm run develop. Now, if I go back to my Strapi installation now, I can see that I now get an ImageKit icon in the left-hand menu, which is where we will access the ImageKit Media Library soon. And we also get a settings section where you get an ImageKit configuration section as well. Now, it's important that you do this configuration right away, right? So you fill in the public key, private key, and ImageKit URL endpoint right away. To get these values, go to your ImageKit dashboard and go to the developer section. You will find these values available here. So I'll first copy the URL endpoint and I will put it in the appropriate field. Similarly, I'll copy the public key, put it in the ImageKit public key section, and I'll copy the private key and I'll paste it in the ImageKit private key section, right? So this is the first step that you need to do. Now, let's say if I try to go to the ImageKit Media Library, it still doesn't work, right? So we get this error. The next step that you would need to do is to configure the content security policy. Again, head back to the docs. We have given the exact policy that needs to be changed. So I'll just copy this section of the policy that we need to update for Strapi security. And we need to update the middlewares that are there for it, right? So we already have Strapi security defined over here, but we need to add more configuration for Strapi security as given in our docs. And I will remove the first line that was there for Strapi security. So in this content security policy, we are allowing ik.imagekit.io to be one of the domains from where images can be loaded or from where videos and audios can be loaded. And additionally, we want to allow the embedded media library, which loads from eml.imagekit.io, to work within the Strapi CMS. Now, once I save this, you can see that our Strapi server will restart automatically with the new middleware settings. And if I now go back to my Strapi installation and reload the page, the ImageKit Media Library should now load automatically, right? You might be presented with a login, but you will have to do it once, and then you would always be logged into this media library view. As you can see, this is the same media library that is accessible directly in the ImageKit dashboard. It is now accessible from this ImageKit Media Library icon within the Strapi CMS. Now, to use an asset that's there in your ImageKit Media Library, we first need to bring it to the Strapi Media Library. That's a limitation of the Strapi platform. So let's say I want to use this particular asset with some content in Strapi. I first need to select the asset and then click on Insert at the top. When I click on Insert, you will get this notification at the top that the file has been imported. And if I head to the media library, you can see that I start seeing this file over here. Now, when I did this insert, Strapi actually does not create a copy of the file. It is just referring to the file via its ImageKit URL. Let's actually test it out as well. So for example, I have some pieces of content that are already published. I'll go to one of them and I will edit the image that is attached to this, right? So I'll browse the media library and I will select this image and I will publish it. I'll now use Postman, which I have already configured to access the list of articles in my Strapi CMS. When I send this request now, you can see for the article that we updated, which is a bug is becoming a meme on the internet. For this, you can now see that the media URL or the cover image URL directly refers to the ImageKit image that we just added. Whereas the other cover images, they still refer to the files that are still there in the media library. They provide relative paths. So these would be accessible from your Strapi instance directly. They are still not accessible via ImageKit, right? So now the next step that we need to do is that what if we want to access even these assets via ImageKit? So the steps for doing that are really simple. ImageKit allows you to deliver assets from any external origin, right? So you don't need to move the assets that are there in your media library to ImageKit for the entire delivery to happen via ImageKit, right? We can just connect your existing Strapi storage to ImageKit and just update the media delivery URLs. Now, the first step would be that how do we connect the existing Strapi storage to ImageKit? Now, in your ImageKit dashboard, you have a section for external storage. Your Strapi instance is nothing but a web server, right? So we'll select the web folder source. I will give it a name Strapi instance. And in this case, because it's a local host installation, and ImageKit won't be able to access your local host installation. Had it been a cloud deployment, I would have just added the base URL directly, but I cannot add localhost 1337 to my external storage base URL. So what I'll do is I will use a utility called ngrok to start a proxy to my port 1337. ngrok gives me a URL which is now publicly accessible. So I will use this base URL, which would act as a way for me to access my local application running on port 1337, which is my Strapi CMS. So I'll add this Strapi instance and I'll go to URL endpoints and I will map the Strapi instance to my default URL endpoint. Once I do this, let's quickly test if my files are accessible. So my file URL was this, and my URL endpoint is what I can copy from here. When I access it, the file is now accessible via ImageKit as well. Now, the next step that we need to do is to update your ImageKit plugin configuration so that Strapi starts using ImageKit URLs for media delivery as well. So we'll go to the configuration section and we'll first update this media delivery setting to true. I'll save this. Now to test whether the configuration is working or not, I will resend this request and now you can see that all my cover image URLs are now coming via ImageKit, right? If I click on one of these to check if it's working or not, it's clearly working. Now at this stage, you can still see that ImageKit is actually just using the files that were already resized by Strapi, right? Now Strapi has a configuration built in where it will automatically create the large variant, the medium variant, and it gives you the height and width that is used to create these different variants, right? Now we do not want Strapi to be doing all of this resizing. ImageKit is capable of doing all the transformations in real time. So instead of using the versions that are created by Strapi, we'll go back to the Strapi settings and we will use ImageKit transformations for responsive URLs. When I turn this on, I will save this and let's look at the API response now again. Now this time when I access the images, you can see that ImageKit now does not access the thumbnail or the medium variant of the image. Instead, it's always accessing the original variant. And then it is adding transformations for height and width, which matches the height and width of the asset that was available to us. And it generates a complete URL with these transformations getting applied in real time. If I click on this, you can see that the image that we are able to access, this is 1000 by 589, which is the dimension that we requested here. And if I remove this transformation, I can still access the original image on this path. So with these two settings enabled, you can now have all your media delivered, whether that's stored inside your Strapi Media Library or that's imported from the ImageKit Media Library. All of these assets will now be getting delivered via ImageKit. Now, till now, we have covered the images that were either already there in ImageKit or the images that were already there in the Strapi Media Library. We have not covered that what will happen if I add new assets directly to the Strapi Media Library. For that, we'll again go back to the settings for ImageKit plugin, and there is an upload configuration that's available. I will enable this to true. Doing this basically says that everything that gets added to the Strapi Media Library, Strapi should applicate the same to the ImageKit Media Library. I have an option to create a new upload folder as well, so that all the assets that I now add to the Strapi Media Library should only go inside a specific folder in my ImageKit Media Library. Let's say I will use the folder Strapi content for this, and I do not want to do any other tags or I do not want to add any other checks. As of now, we'll just start with a simple configuration and I will save this setting, right? Now, when I go to the Strapi Media Library and I try to upload a new asset, for example, I will upload the picture of this bag. When I upload this asset to the Strapi Media Library, it gets uploaded to the ImageKit Media Library. I'll go directly to the ImageKit Media Library to the Strapi content folder, and you can see that we have these 5 different versions of the image of the bag that gets created. So Strapi sent us the original file, and then it sent us the small, large, medium, and thumbnail variant as well. Now, I could possibly want only the original file to be available. I do not want Strapi to be sending the small, large, medium, and other variants to ImageKit. For that, we can go to the settings and we can go to the media library settings, and we will need to turn off this responsive friendly upload to false. You should do this only if you are going to be using the ImageKit transformations for media delivery. If you do not plan on using the ImageKit transformations for media delivery, though I would not recommend that, but you should keep this setting turned on if you do not plan to use the ImageKit transformations. So this was an overview of how you can use ImageKit for media delivery, as well as for syncing uploads from the Strapi Media Library to ImageKit DAM, and then for accessing all the assets that are already there inside your ImageKit DAM with any Strapi content. If you have more questions, refer to our documentation or reach out to our support team.